about the law of attraction is that you need to, if you, like, it's easier to live if you control your thoughts. Because basically, at some point, you cannot change stuff, and you need to concentrate on what you're thinking and control it. And as soon as you think about good things, you just not concentrate. You just literally forgetting about it. Let's say, for example, I will give a good example. Let's say that I have something. Let's say, what can I say? Let me think. Let's say that I have. I have this napkin. I have this. And I cannot get rid of it. It's just mine. It's mine. It's always forever mine. I'm just like this in my head. And I cannot influence this anyhow. So what people do a lot of times, they just like living with this napkin in the hand, and instead of, and it's like it's there, they can function, they are still functioning, it's then there's a napkin there. But what they do, they are like eating, talking, walking, and they're like, I have napkin. Or they are like walking on the street and they're like, oh my god, I have napkin, I have napkin, I have napkin. Or like, I don't know, it's related to everything, to appearance, to friends, to family, to job, everything. We're like, and you cannot get rid of it. Just like if you tried everything, or just try to get rid of it, or just stop doing this. But people doing this a lot, like they're like, and the moment when you realize, the problem is, according to what I realized, is that people are not that smart, and people think that they have 1 million of thoughts during the day, but basically no. People have just few thoughts during the day, and normally this is about some problems that they cannot solve, and they're like constantly thinking about it. So when you control your thought, and it's like, okay, this is not, and you just move it, you just don't think about it, somehow it disappears. It's just like attention. If your attention is not there, it's gone. Are we defined by our action, or are people influenced by genetics and environmental things out of their control to do good or bad things? I think it's both things. No, don't you think? I think it's both. I think it's both. It of course depends a lot, but I would like to believe that people at some point achieve to the place when they're conscious and they don't do bad things. It's both. Yeah, I agree. Like, for example, his action is not good at all. The napkin thing you talked remind me about the book I read. Which book? Tell me about the book that you read. Maybe I should also read this book. But this is like a lot of book. I read a lot of books about this, actually, and it's pretty much, I believe that this is what the law of attraction is saying, that you just don't concentrate. And probably, if you have the napkin and you're constantly thinking about this napkin, you're like thinking about it and thinking, probably you're overthought that much that your brain is so overloaded that you cannot even understand that you can throw it away and you will not have it anymore. But you collapsed. You cannot do anything with this because you're like, oh my god, I have napkin all the time. And when you throw it away, maybe you're gonna forget about it, you're gonna relax, and you just automatically, unconsciously just throw it away. That's I believe that that's what they say. They say that the drunk person, if you gonna have a totally sober person and a drunk person, and you're gonna push the drunk, I'm sorry for this kind of examples, they are really rude, but, and you're gonna push a drunk person and you're gonna push the sober person. It's more likely that the drunk person will have less injuries when he gonna fall than the sober person, because drunk person is relaxed, and somehow when we're relaxed we're just like falling and we have auto-save mode. But the person who's like waiting for it all, it's like not flexible, is just stuck like this and waiting for something bad to happen, and like, oh my god. And that's because of this like unflexible movement. That's what's going on. So relaxation is very important. That's why yoga and meditation is also popular, because you can relax on a physical way. It's like even I'm entering to the Socrates mode. It's like even this stuff about the teeth. Like if you pick up our teeth in our mouth, they are not like this that they are never moved. They are little bit move, all of them. Everything is a little bit move flexible because if it's just like this, stable and never moves, it's easily to break. Um, it talked about the attention, what lies beyond the stars. What you're saying is connected to self prof prop. My Socrates mode is done here, and my ego is because I cannot even read this. Professing. I'm sorry, this is such a big shame. I don't know how to read it. And the theory that things only exist when consciousness is aware of it. Or do I misunderstand? Actually, I don't know. I never. My thoughts are not that. I never thought about this. Actually, I never go on the streets thinking whether this exists or not. For me, it exists. Like everything what I see, I don't know. But I, for example, really what I share. It's ok. You speak 3 languages, and I works one. I fail, not you lol. No, but it's like I had some kind of dyslexia stuff in here because I couldn't even I was like prof and I couldn't read it. No, what I say about the I'm saying about the attention. It's really good stuff. Some people probably would understand about whom I'm talking about from my life. Some people who are joining the stream and watching, but some people, and we all have this kind of a people, there is a type of the people who are constantly trying to get your attention, okay? They're like entering into your lives, they do some kind of stuff, and they require your attention. And this kind of attention is not that something that they necessarily need from you, but they want to, it's like some kind of, they want to do drama, or they want to do whatever, like it's like just to give you attention. And the moment, it's very interesting, but this is true, according to what my experience is true. The moment when you have the person in your head, you're giving this energy to this person somehow. And I don't know how, but this person feels it somehow and sucking out this energy. But the moment when you forgot about this, you're not giving the energy anymore. And this person is also feeling. I don't know how this works. But this worked for me like 1 million times, like 1 million times. Energy vampires. I don't know if that's energy vampires, but it just maybe, I don't know how to explain, for example, intuition or whatever it is. But it happened to me like empaths. No, but like, for example, let me tell you, I can give you some example. Let me give you some example. For example, you talk to someone, right? I'm not talking right now about the relationships and when you know that if you break up with someone and you think about someone. No. I'm not even saying it. It works there also, but I'm saying about other stuff. Like, let's say that you are just on the supermarket. You're in the supermarket and you have some angry lady and she's like doing this PPP, like with the products on the cashier machine, and she's angry, right? So she's like, and this happens a lot of times. And she's like, at some point would be like, I gonna spoil her mood because I need to get rid of my negative attention, so I gonna insult her. So this moment when she's doing this to you, I believe that she's like giving her, she somehow triggers you, put you on a hook, and even if you're out from the shop, you're still thinking about her. And that's the moment when she's getting like released because you're giving her attention and you're giving her energy. If you don't pay attention to people that affect you that way, then you are not affected at all. If you give them attention, you are affected. Yeah, pretty much like this. That's what I'm trying to say. But I think it works on all of the levels. And it's really, really curious. Like, I don't know. But that's what I think about this kind of law of attraction and stuff. And it was a Steve Jobs, right? That it was in his book when they were saying that he lived in this kind of, with this kind of logic. And he was saying, Steve Jobs was saying about this logic that he had it, that if you have a problem, you should pretend that the problem is not exist. And people were very, but we are not Steve Jobs. I'm saying, like, for example, let's say that you have your job of the dream, you have the job of your dream, but for some reason you do the interviews and you are not passing the job for the job. You cannot pass the job. And I got lost. And if you pay attention to them and you're affected, yeah, I already read it. So what I'm saying is that I'm back. My thoughts are back to my brain. So what I'm saying is that if you have a job of your dream, you cannot get it. Instead of constantly thinking about it, maybe it's easy to just stop thinking and let it go at some point. But Steve Jobs was on another level, I believe, not as we are. And he literally just was ignoring everything. And that was written in the books, that he was like, if he has some due to pay for the flat, for example, I don't remember exact examples, but something like this, that he would ignore it. Like, he would be like, I'm not paying anything, I'm moving to another flat, it's not mine. And people were like saying that it was very hard and complicated because he was like making things worse. Like, it's some kind of on a limit with to be irresponsible, something like this. But it also works like in a way. So yeah, I never saw is it real or not. It's quite real. Everything what I see, I cannot deny it in a way. But I do think I notice it, especially by the people, how this always, like, this energy literally goes very heavily. It works for me like 100%. So this guy, the thief, is bad one. What you explained is real. What do you mean? About the Steve Jobs or about the attention? This is a duck. Well, I think it's a human nature in a lot of things. I do kind of an ugly duck. About attention and Steve Jobs. Yes, that he was like this kind of guy, right? Who was like, I don't care, I don't give a fuck, bye-bye. But this helps him a lot. But also, like, I need to say that is very common right now. The stuff for me that I'm fighting with myself as Ukrainian, like, I'm fighting with myself, like literally with myself, because from school, because I was born when it was still USSR. Like, it disappeared very quickly then, but I got the influence in my school. So, for example, what we have in our school, it's like it's like a trauma. Actually, I'm gonna share a little bit of traumas. For example, if you're a girl in the school, and we always had this kind of situation when you cannot, let's say that if I'm gonna put earring, it was very common to say to me, for example, if I'm gonna fail with some answer or if I'm gonna do some kind of mistake at class, it's very common for me to get the answer like, oh my God, so you had a time to put an earring on your ear or put a makeup, but you had no time to prepare for the class? What you were thinking? Like, it was very like toxic. So we have this kind of stuff encrypted inside. Like, a lot of Ukrainians, they have this kind of trauma, like, and trauma that you constantly need to like prove stuff, and you like, you know, like crazy things. And actually frequencies and vibrations, but it's all through, is there actually energy being transferred? I don't think that in that level that it's energy being transferred, the frequencies and vibration, what we can maybe see with future technology. I transfer money. I had to tell it. Okay. Maybe. I think, yeah, something like this should be. We need to read Einstein for this. He was very cool about this. So, authoritarian type school. I don't know why I remembered it. I was remembering this because it's, like after this kind of after authoritarian schools, you have this kind of situation when you easily even can attack your own self, like let's say like you're criticizing yourself also. And I know it's not that it's something that only mine, it's some or like for example that it's a really, there is one really cool book, a really cool book called The Culture Map. The Culture Map, it's a book about the countries and like how people establish the relationship, like for example it's written for the companies, for the big companies like IT companies, whatever, and they say how people establish their relationship between boss and the team and whatever. So for me, for example, and I know it, like I went to school right after the earth was like broken, so it was pretty much like this. You need to follow what your teacher gonna, the culture map, yeah, it was a culture map book. So you need to follow the rules that your teacher gonna tell to you, and like, or you do your homework, or like say bye bye, like to your life. Well, not like this, but it was like pretty much hard, right? And you cannot go and to do joke. Like you have a really big hierarchy, right? You have this huge hierarchy. But for example, in Spain, and I know this, and in Spain, it's like hierarchy is zero. What you tell to your boss, you can tell to your kid, and you can tell to your friend. It's like really like going close, close. It's still there. I can feel it. It's still there. But for me, it's like be also raised in this, living half soon of my life in Spain. It's like I said yesterday, I'm like this Jackie Chan in the movies, that I'm like walking on the street and screaming like who I am. Like I don't know. So yeah. Authoritarian type schools. I don't even know if that's authoritarian type schools. Actually, at some point, this is really good one. This is really good one type of schools, I would say, because